All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
Three consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to pre-market prep at the close. Spencer Israel decided to start the show a few minutes early today because I have a guest that I want to bring on, and I'm very excited to talk to. A little bit of a different guest, different conversation. We're going to have still markets related, but we're zooming out from individual companies, individual stocks, and we're going to talk about disrupting the entire marketplace, the entire capital market system. So I'll bring my guest on in a second. Before I continue, though, I want to make my prompt, as I always do. If you're watching, do me a solid. Drop me a like if you can. I'd appreciate that. Subscribe to Benzinga on YouTube if you have not already. Joel Elconin will be on in about a half hour or so. So we'll go into the close with Joel. But for now, I want to bring on our guest, who I'm very excited to talk to, Joe Cecala. He is the founder and CEO of the Dream Exchange, doing something that I don't think anybody else is doing out there. So let's bring Joe on now. Joe, good afternoon. Welcome. How are we doing today?
Doing great. Thank you so much for getting our message out and having us on your show.
Well, explain this. What is the Dream Exchange?
So we're a stock exchange in formation. Okay. We are a majority owned by some. We're going to be making some big announcements about our venture capital partners. So they're Black-owned VCs and investors that are our majority shareholders. And we will be historically the first ever fully licensed Black-owned stock exchange in the history of our country. And we'll be a fully licensed exchange, just like NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, the new members exchange. There's 7, will be the 8th. So that's in a nutshell, that's what we're doing.
So when you say a Black-owned stock exchange, what does that mean? That like your investors are certain firms, or I guess I'm confused on like what the Black-owned thing comes into play.
Yeah. So I mean, just in our capital structure, we'll be a certified minority-owned business, and yes, they're Black investors. In addition to the fact that we have some of the most incredible and talented staff who are minorities, and so we're really on the bleeding edge, and we've been doing this for years. So Dream Exchange and its concept was born 5 years ago. We've been talking about national capital markets and how the need to change capital markets to become more inclusive and to get capital flowing into entrepreneurial businesses and underserved communities. We've been doing that for close to 10 years, maybe 12 years. So the spotlight's on us now because of all the kind of upheaval and civil unrest that's gone on this past year. And we're very close. We're probably, months away from actually launching the exchange. So it's kind of all vectors have aligned at this period in time in our company's evolution.
I think James J is asking, what I think is a fair question is why does this matter, Joe?
So it's a very good question. I get it all the time. Yeah. When you look at capital markets in the United States and you look at economic prosperity in our communities, there's absolutely irrefutable research and data on this. 92% of all jobs in a company are created after that company has a public offering. So, the economic prosperity from public capital markets into small businesses, small IPOs, is undeniable. And that data goes back 50 years. I have a research paper published by Oxford University called Low Visibility Markets Acting as Stepping Stones to National Exchanges. So public markets create prosperity. In the 230-year history of the New York Stock Exchange, there has been one Black-owned company ever listed. So when you correlate some of this data, you can see that it's a problem. We have a problem in that the minority communities and a lot of entrepreneurs today, this is transcends minority communities to some greater degree, are not really getting access to the public capital markets. So the business purpose, right, built into the goals and purposes of the Dream Exchange is to see public capital markets expand in the underserved communities. And it's just of vital importance. Prosperity tends to bring about, a society that has fewer and fewer, maybe different problems, but fewer problems of the order of magnitude that we see happening in our society today. And I think our business is at the forefront. We're the tip of the spear to create meaningful solutions to what's going on in our world.
So I'm trying to understand what exactly the Dream Exchange will be, because you're not launched yet. So when you launch, it will be a stock exchange for publicly traded companies?
Yes. So we're in the process of constructing what we call it the pipes. So we took on Bruce Trask, who was the former chief architect of the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. He's now our chief technology officer. And we're building what's called a national market system stock exchange, fully licensed, equal license with the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange. There are 7 exchanges. If you aggregate the licenses that exist today, we will be the 8th. And we're on every side. We're on both sides of every trade. So, the market's up, the market's down. All that trading volume and data comes through a stock exchange. We'll be one of the market participants. And for the first time ever, our customers will be Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and the large investment and brokerage houses, and they will be able to do business with a minority-owned stock exchange for the first time in the history of our country. That's the one side. The other side is we're creating a customized set of rules so that we can list companies that have really never been listed before. And inside of those rules, we're seeing a lot of evolution into environmental, sustainable, green. These are nondescript, they're not easily measurable statistical pieces of data, but the corporate environment is spending an enormous amount of money on these types of programs. And all we're doing is adding diversity to our listing kind of evaluation so that we can create more diverse listings. There are hundreds. We had 1 million people through our website in the last 4 months. And the Black-owned small entrepreneurial companies that are worthy of listing in the public capital markets, it's astounding how many companies there are. And we intend to be their service provider. We want them to list on the Dream Exchange in the future. We're customizing rules to help that be the case. And we expect to see a lot of new initial public offerings in our future. Obviously, this is a rollout. This may take a period of years before we're getting the volume attraction that we need. But it's clearly an idea whose time has come, and we intend to help get access to capital in the public markets for all those companies.
So you mentioned, most of these are small businesses. There's an argument to be made, should businesses of a certain, shouldn't there be a size threshold, right, for businesses to be publicly traded? I mean, there are the thresholds, there are rules that you must comply in the NASDAQ and the NYSE. We're talking about small businesses here, and with that comes a higher degree of risk, right?
It does. It also reciprocally, when you have the risk conversation, you also have the wealth building conversation. The risk, there's the reward part of it. So what we have to do in designing our rules is assure that the investor protection rules are unimpeded. So transparency, corporate reporting, corporate governance, all the rules that would go along with a company being able to list on an exchange, that's baked into it's already in our existing unreleased rule book. But that's an interesting thing you're saying, because up until 20 years ago, more than 75% of all public offerings were $50 million and under. So when you look at our capital markets, it's a shrinking community of public capital market participants. Now, a lot of this was caused because, by and large, the public capital markets today are electronic environments. In fact, you're showing our slide. The birth of Archipelago, which I was the lawyer for the founders of Archipelago, which is really the backbone of the New York Stock Exchange today. Archipelago merged with NYSE in 2005. And you can see that the 50 million and under IPO market, it meteorically declined after the birth of the electronic trading world. So what we're doing is designing a more human-based, a more human interactive listing set of standards to restore that $50 million IPO, because at one time we had over 10,000 public companies. That there wasn't increased risk because we had more companies. We had good companies. We have about 3,500 choices in the public markets today. We need to increase those choices and get access to capital for the brightest and the most imaginative companies. And they may be smaller, and those investors will be able to harvest wealth because of the growth of those earlier stage IPOs, as they did for 50 years before the advent of electronic trading.
So these are going to be small businesses that are going to be able to approach you guys and say, hey, we want to go public. We want to have an IPO. We want to have outside investors. We want to raise capital, and you're going to be the venue for them. Is there also like a private side, like a private market side to this, or are we just talking public capital markets?
So this is the public capital market side. Now, we are working on, and have been for the last 4 years, on a piece of legislation called the Main Street Growth Act, which I think is just a necessity for our country. And in the Main Street Growth Act, it allows for the creation of something called a venture exchange, a brand new type of stock exchange. And the capital that can come into and through venture exchanges is capital that was once private capital, but would now be eligible for the public capital markets. There's a tremendous amount more scrutiny than would go into a normal private transaction, because obviously it's a public market. So there's an increase to investor protections, but simultaneously there's liquidity for companies that have never seen it before. And that law, the Main Street Growth Act, in 2018, it was unanimously passed by the House of Representatives and the Senate. It was attached to appropriations. So this isn't a speculative idea. The SEC likes the idea. Everyone likes the idea. The only reason we're talking about it as a potential law today is, if you remember, at the end of 2018, they shut the government down. So none of the bills that were attached to the year-end appropriations were signed into law. And then the last 2 years have been COVID and impeachments and a lot of political wrangling that has nothing to do with the legislation. So this year we're working on it. We have a great government relations team. The head of our government relations team is a former congressman for 20 years. And I suspect that it is a law whose time has come. In other words, it's a matter of when it will be passed rather than whether. That will give us flexibility, where what you said was, they approach us. No, our intention, once the Main Street Growth Act is passed, is to be proactive, to go into the community, to train the small business. And when we say small business, we're not talking about the corner dry cleaners. No offense to those types of small business. We're talking about people who have viable markets, who might have marketplaces that are nationwide. They might be supply chain companies. They might have specialized technology or abilities. We did a survey on the companies, and we found that about 30% of companies that want to be public or go to the over-the-counter markets, which is not a stock exchange. OTC is a stock brokerage. So we would be a bona fide liquidity market for those companies, and we intend to go public outreach. We want to get into the community, find the companies, get them informed that the public capital markets is the way we built America. Look, 120 years ago, if you look at some of our materials, to go to the grocery store, you needed a horse and a buggy. And today you don't need that. You go in a climate-controlled vehicle. And the public capital markets of the United States in the last 120 years have created such powerful innovation to help human beings live and survive in a much better way. And if we stop paying for that innovation, we stop investing in those smaller companies, we're really shrinking the backbone of what has made our country really great. We're the innovators. The rest of the world looks to us for those types of invention. And we need to fund it. The energy, the lifeblood of that invention to help us survive as a nation really comes at the kind of the birthplace of things. Apple Computer started in a garage. Clearly, it got some nice capital at the beginning, but those were very small public offerings. Microsoft was a $61 million IPO in 1986. Microsoft would not be a public offering at that stage in today's environment. It would be a much later stage IPO, which means all that wealth that would have been harvested by early investors in a company like Microsoft is unavailable to the general investing public today. They're just not able to have access to that investment round at that earliest stage. So we're really the pioneers in getting into the communities to get those early stage private companies to go public sooner, albeit, like you said, there is some risk, but there's also tremendous wealth to be harvested, which is a great thing for our country. You just have to be a shrewd investor and look at what people will lose money. I mean, that people lose money in markets. But by the same token, stopping all of the potential for these investments and giving market speculators the opportunity to take the risks that they would comfortably take isn't the way to expand our capital markets in our country. In fact, the IPO task force funded by the government was 10 years ago directly on point to rehabilitate the IPO market. The IPO markets are few and far between. The only way to go public today is to be a multi-billion-dollar unicorn. And we intend to be the pioneers in helping to transform that market. And we're willing to put in the work. Our margins will be smaller because we'll have more people and more teams of people in the community creating those IPOs. But it doesn't mean we're not scheduled to be a profitable business enterprise and grow over. This is a decades-long project. This will be going long after I've either retired or checked out. So that's the purpose behind the exchange, is to flow capital into the entrepreneurial environment, to give access to the entrepreneur and the underserved community to capital that they need to expand, and to make a marketplace. Without a supermarket, there's no groceries. So we're the marketplace. We're not here to give investment advice. We're here to make the market, the playing field in which the game of investing can be played and played well by good investors and smart companies.
What exactly goes into making an exchange? I know the small exchange is another one that I think they launched earlier this year or in the last year, but it sounds like you've got the regulators, you're working with Congress, there is endlessly complicated market structure and technology. So this seems like a really, really hard thing to do.
It is.
You said you've been at it for what, 5 years?
So yeah, I'm laughing because I've actually had someone ask me the question, "What makes you think you could build a stock exchange?" So great question. Yes, there's tremendous complexity to what is called the national market system. Regulation national market system came in place to allow for a unified, what's called national best bid, best offer electronic system. We're building that. Yes, it's not for the faint of heart. Like I said, our chief technology officer is 15 years, the chief architect of NASDAQ. He's not the only one. We have, several people who have built what are called order books. So the short answer to your question is, what we're building is what's called a trade matching engine. That's what a stock exchange really is. It's a set of rules by which buyers and sellers meet, and they understand how their trade, putting on limit order or at the market order, whatever constraints they put on it, how will that order in the marketplace electronically be matched on the other side? Well, the exchange electronically functions according to not only the regulations, but a customized rule book so that buyers and sellers can meet one another in the market. We're in the process of building that. I actually get videotape of our construction and how our market will work almost on a daily basis. That's one exchange that will be able to be the only minority exchange having that share volume order flow into our exchange. And no one, there's a problem because a lot of the financial service firms really want to do business with Black-owned firms. And one of the problems that exists is, it's all transactional. JP Morgan wants to spend money in diversity programs, but what they're looking for is Black-owned firms to be able to do business with them. Well, what is the business that a JP Morgan or a Goldman Sachs is in? Well, they're in the business of trading stocks primarily. Clearly, other investment vehicles as well, but we are providing a venue for them to actually do business with a minority-owned company. And then what we're doing is redirecting what is our profitability and our cash flow to developing the capital market for the Black community and the entrepreneurial community, one and the same. So that's what the exchange is, a national market exchange. Now, the other exchange that would be born under the Main Street Growth Act, working with Congress, that exchange can be, actually it's being programmed as well. It'll be plugged into, it'll be what we call a trading tier of our national market exchange once the law is passed. So that's all a stock exchange is. It is a set of electronic rules to match buyers and sellers according to a fair playing field where they can have expectations of how their orders will be filled in an order book at the exchange.
So then the natural extension to that question is when are you going to think launch? When can it live?
It's coming along really well. I'll tell you one of the things that we were kind of going along really well in our electronic construction. As a CEO today, one of the primary considerations that really hit me hard this spring and last fall and this spring was, we're building this, and my attention on cybersecurity was quite low in the beginning because, it's a national exchange system and we have places to house it. There's all kinds of web services that are provided that we would utilize. So we took a few steps back and we put every electronic mechanical process inside of a cybersecure environment. In fact, we hired Tellis Williams, who was the cybersecurity officer of the year last year. He happens to be Black. And everything we do now in the construction is with an eye on assuring that we will never be hacked, we'll never experience a down minute of our exchange because we did not, with forethought, think of how to construct everything in a secure environment. So that slowed us down a little bit. I expected to be putting our license in the fourth quarter of this year. I think we're probably going to be in first quarter, maybe early second quarter with our application next year. The SEC doesn't take very long anymore. The Members Exchange is a new exchange. They were created in the fall. The Miami Exchange was created in the fall. The Long-Term Stock Exchange was created last fall. And all of their applications, once submitted, took about 90 days for the SEC to approve. So my speculation is we'll be first quarter, early second quarter with our application, and we'll be launching a short time after that in 2022. It's exciting. I'm enjoying the process. I'm an entrepreneur, so I kind of like I'm a carpenter with holes in my roof. I'll be happy when we're operational. I've been working on this a very long time. Like I said, I started working with the founders of Archipelago in 1996. So the national market system and how capital flows through, a highly electronic stock trading environment is something I've been, working on for 25 years. So yes, you're right. It takes tremendous expertise. It's actually hard to find staff members and people who have that expertise, who are actually not someone who was at a stock brokerage, but at an exchange itself, who understands that exchanges are very different animals. It is a license to really regulate and control above FINRA. The New York Stock Exchange is its own self-regulatory organization. So brokerages comply with FINRA. We have to make sure they are in compliance, but they also have to comply with our rules. So we get to regulate. New York Stock Exchange can stop trading in a stock. They don't have to ask someone's permission. So we're going to have that exact power, and it's not power that's granted by the SEC lightly. But I'm really impressed with our team. I guess I'm assembling. I like to be not be the smartest guy in the room, and I'm really surrounded now by a team of extraordinary people. Bruce Trask is extraordinary. He's a Ivy League pedigreed engineer who really understands global capital markets and how the electronic flow of matching those orders globally works. And he's accelerated our timetable. So that's our challenge right now, is making sure that we're adding the proper elements to our team, as well as building it in a secure, really safe environment, but it's state of the art. We intend to be better than the other exchanges. Minority owned or not, our goal is to be the premier state of the art trading environment for every brokerage to want to come to us because we're the best exchange in the market. That's our goal.
Joe Sakayla is the founder and CEO of the Dream Exchange at dreamx.com. The link is up on the screen. It's also in the description of this video. I told you guys something different. I wasn't lying. Joe Cecala, thank you so much. This has been enlightening for me. Look forward to tracking your progress and seeing how things shake out in the next few quarters.
Yeah, I look forward to being back. We got big announcements coming this summer and fall, so I'd love to come back. Yeah.
I'll keep my ear to the ground. Thanks a lot, Joe.
Thank you so much for your time.
All right. 3:29, guys. We got about a minute before I'm gonna bring Joel Elconin on here and do what we usually do, which is wrap up the day. I told you guys something different, right? I mean, that's what I said. We try to run the gamut here. We talk stocks, we talk other assets, we talk crypto, we talk commodities, every Monday we talk market structure with Tim Quast, and this is sort of in that same vein of market structure. Look, it's a really, really, really hard thing that Joe is trying to do, and the team of the Dream Exchange is trying to do. I wish them the best, and we'll find out. We'll find out how it goes. But it's something that we don't normally talk about here on our stream, and I'm trying to bring more stories from other areas of the capital markets, right? Not just the same old stuff that you can see everywhere. And so that's something different, and I hope you guys liked that. So it is 3:30. Let's bring it into overall market talk if we can. And to do that, I can't do it alone. You guys know that. I got to bring on the man himself, the man with the plan, Mr. Joel Elconin. And he's here right now. Joel.
What's up, Suspense?
What's up? How we doing?
Oh, boy, oh, boy. Up and down and all around, but big tech with the big save.
I know. What got into tech today? I'm not quite sure.
I don't know. I show y'all exactly what I'm talking about here when I run down the indexes here. Spoos took out yesterday's low on two different occasions. I'm going to share my screen, Spencer. You're not even going to have to ask me. Yesterday low was 41.90 and a quarter. We took it into pre-market, and then it looked like we were going there again. And no, the buy the dippers come in. We're traded 3 points off the high of the session here and looking for more. Crude finally has a bad day, down 98 cents here in the after hours, 71.17. Gold, no bounce, down $82.10 at 1779.30. Silver, the situation worsens, down $1.75 at 26.06, clinging to staying above 26. And Bitcoin's just not what it used to be. Down $780 at 39 or 30. This is called 37,800, and Ethereum's in the red by about the same percentage, 76.50, 23.42, 75. Let me drag this over here just to show you what I'm talking about. Can you see my my front screener here?
I see it.
Look at this. Look at this. The index is up just what? Less than 1.15. Apple 1.52, Microsoft 1.5, Amazon 2.2, Google 1%, Facebook 2%, Tesla 2.2%, and the banks, man, these banks got stomped.
I was gonna go there next, because if you can look at JP Morgan, which, I mean, they all got stuffed, right?
Oh my gosh.
How many red days in a row is there for Citigroup? It's a lot.
Oh, what did I do here? Hold on, man. What did I do?
Did you tank the market again, Joel?
No, I didn't tank the. Oh, there we go. I needed to get rid of that. Let's see. Citigroup. See, thing is these things opened up.
I know.
That was the thing. They opened up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 days in a row for that. We took out this low, trying to recover. Bank of America, look at what a rug pull. Open 42 and trade under 40. Once you've seen an intraday move like that in Bank of America, no one wants to own these banks. I know that we were talking about it on the show today. JP Morgan, this thing is getting stomped. It's like it took the market a while to realize. You had the update yesterday, matched yesterday's high. I mean, it's like all of a sudden the market believes that there's no inflation now, and they believe Jerome Powell, and they believe that they're and you don't want to own the banks, and that's what you're seeing here today. Just a absolute rout in the banks.
Yeah. Easy Mike talking about the 10-year. I think it was Easy Mike talking about the 10-year. Just a reversal, right? We're back down almost at 15. We were below 15 earlier in the day. Just the last 2 days, one direction, nope, the other direction now. So, that's the story of the day. Tech is up, and bank, financials, energy. Oh my God, energy and materials and industrials today are just getting smacked around.
Yeah, what's the Dow down? Like 150 or something like that? I mean,
yeah. How many losing days in a row is that for the Dow? Actually, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 9 down days in a row. I'm looking at the diamond. I'm looking at the ETF.
Yeah, the DIA.
Yeah, 9 days in a row. Ooh,
man. I mean, there's your rotation, folks. Let's look at how's growth doing there. We use old Kathy. Growth is having a decent day. Kathy knocking on the door of a 3-day high, 4-day high. How's Zoom doing? Zoom, big move up. Couple days of consolidation. Another move higher. Peloton, that's probably trading. That's trading up a little bit too. And look at these chip, these tech stocks. Look at Nvidia blast off once again. AMD into orbit, broke out of that trading range. You know what? I wonder what happened to AMAT. You know what? They shrugged that off too.
It was so quiet today.
Yeah. Wow. Are you seeing just every which way but loose in this market? I do want to point out something we talked about in quite a bit detail today.
Yeah.
And Fords. Remember we were talking about Fords?
Yeah, we were talking about it.
Okay, so let me just this was
and then it reversed, right? Yep.
Yep. Let me show though how sneaky these guys are, right? Look at this. This is the pre-market here. Look at this. 1550. We talked about all the stock in the book and how traders were trading ahead of it. 1540 was your best in the regular session. And then just a total rug pull ended up making a new low for the move.
So all of that paper at 1550
never got done.
Yeah.
Either they never got done or they came back to, people stepped in front of it and then they said, oh, well, it's 1550. Maybe I'll sell 1540. No, I'll sell 1530. No, I'll sell 1520. Boom. Down to 15, and boy, they just smoked. That thing got smoked. And I looked at the guidance, and I looked at there was a lot of positive things in there, but it wasn't like super extra positive. And I guess that's maybe what the street thought too. But there you go. Use it. In my article, I put in there about the New York book, and also if you think about it, it moved 40 cents, right? It was up 40 cents. That's a big day. That's a good day for Ford. So in order to keep it going, you had to find some buyers at high prices. So, and then also the GM was a little tip off. I got to borrow a pump, and then it kind of, it went up during the day and then it gave it back. So tricky markets here for tricky traders.
That's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is, well, we are still in a period of basically sideways action for the market. Like we went down, now we're back up. And
we're right near all-time highs.
It's a round trip.
It's not even. I mean, these are not even like corrections where you don't even get a chance to get your shopping list out, and it's back up. I mean, it's we talked about it too. I mean, lower rates are good for most of the market. They're not. People that need to borrow. I mean, the banks, and it's being clearly reflected today that, the bank trade is over, and, TAC, who has to borrow money to produce more, likes the lower rates. So you're really seeing some separation today from what the street wants to own and what it doesn't want to own.
So we didn't talk about it this morning because we said who cares, but Kroger is up 5% today on their earnings reports. And also, I just pulled up that daily chart. I did not remember that Kroger got all the way up to $42.99 back. What the hell was going on in late January? Because remember that everything was going crazy. And that was when GameStop was doing this thing. But it wasn't just GameStop though. Everything was up in mid to late January to these obscene levels. What was going on back then?
It was just, I don't know if this thing has a high short interest or not.
It was like euphoric for everything.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, nice. I mean, that's a derivative there. Where did it open? I'm curious to see where it opened. It opened and made it opened lower and just tanned people. Where was your open in Kroger's? I haven't been there. Do you go to Kroger at all?
No, not really. Go
to that Myers cheaper. It would have been a tough trade. You bought the open, you got smoked. It went down to 36.77. Maybe if you were keen on these two lows in this area, you probably even took some heat on that. And now it comes back. Very important area here for Kroger in. Set 39.58. That was your high back on the 8th. 39.62 right now. So it's come a long ways from under 37. So maybe it won't chop through it today. And I'm sure there's some paper stacked up at 40. But very, very nice move there in Kroger.
Here's a question from Shinobi Trades. If AMC halts, how far can it drop in a halt? Well, I don't see any indication that AMC is going to halt. It's not being crazy volatile right now. But to answer the question is how far can it drop in a halt? There's no limit to how far, or go up for that matter. There's no limit to how far it can drop or go up in a halt. That's kind of what makes halts.
Well, it can halt, and then there's a percentage though that it can open lower again. Then right, but then it will halt immediately. And right. I don't know exactly what that. I don't know.
What was the stock from Tuesday that halted and opened? It came out of the halt down 75% Does anyone remember what that was?
Oh God, was that this week or last week?
I think it was Tuesday. It may have been Friday, but I think it was Tuesday.
Oh,
I don't remember. Okay, well, let's get to some tickers from chat. You know what we should have talked about this morning is the trade desk. Because now stock splits are events. And they had their stock split went into effect today.
Ooh.
10 for 1. Now this is a Joel Elconin stock now.
That little bit lower price. Really interesting setup here. You have come back. Sometimes they tank on the day of the gap, but no, of the split. No can do. You're at the very important area here. You had the gap down on earnings. You had a low 62.70. What's your low today or your high today? 63 and a quarter. So they roasted it on the earnings. The first they put out the stock split, and I know it went up, and then they gave the earnings. Then you just consolidated. Let's see. Let's work our way through this candle before earnings. What was the close on the day before earnings? 66.14. That's a soft number. You're filling the gap here. If that was your trade, if that was your goal, then you got it, then take it. I think it's going to have a little bit of problems here getting through this bar, 66.70. That was a high the day before the earnings and the split. Spoos just went up, and I think we just we just made a new intraday high by a tick. And now we're back on 42.20. So if this market's going to play true to form, like it has all day, driving me crazy, then it's going to retreat. But who the hell knows? We'll see. We're currently at 42.19 and a quarter. Just kind of been one of those days where up and down and all around.
Thank you, everyone. It was ORPH, and it was actually a week ago. It was ORPH.
I know.
It was halting on volatility throughout the day, and then in the afternoon, it halted at 56. It came out of the halt at 23. So they can be really scary. Thank you for the ORPH hat tip to Sky Trader and to Nick Kopach. Kopach? I hope I said that right, Nick. What about so the trade desk we talked about. What about everyone keeps asking about solar. Solar's ripping, Tan's ripping, solar's ripping today. They're saying summer good for solar. I didn't realize solar was seasonal, but maybe it is.
Tan. I don't know who was bugging us about buying Tan, but that filled the gap. Had the big run up with Biden. Had the big pullback. It's regaining. Run is still running. What did some analysts make a move on Run? Did I thought they did?
Yesterday, Morgan did.
That was yesterday. So you got a little bit of follow through. 2-day move here, trading near the highs of the session. So what do we got? We took out this high. Next target, 54.32. What did you get to today? You're trading near the high of the session, 52.75. Spoo's back under 42.20. If they go back to unchanged, that's just going to be an unbelievable day.
I hope it happens because this will all been for nothing.
The whole day, and it'll be unchanged. They'll say the market was unchanged today. Meanwhile, we're sitting here pulling our hair out, watching this thing go all over the place. But no, 18.50 now. The close was 13 even. So your VWAP traders are probably having fun today.
Yeah. Okay. I see tickers in the chat. We'll get there, but I wrote a few down from this morning. The trade desk was one. Canada was another. CVS was another. I haven't talked to CVS for a minute on the show. How was CVS? And when Walgreens quiet, CVS, no.
Oh, hanging on for dear life here. Had that run up over. You got to be kidding me. This thing got over $90. And now you're just at a critical. I'd keep an eye on this one, folks. 84.01, 84, 83, 56. I'm going to throw that out of there. Today's low. 83. Ooh, all right. I'll call it 83.50. So if you're hanging on to this one, great candle last month. Finally broke out all those monthly highs. Wish I would have seen that when it broke out of that. And now, so 83.50, big level here. Must hold for CVS.
And fuel cell. Sorry. FCEL.
News or just
no, just from the chat from this morning.
Feel sell.
No.
Chat from this morning. Feel sell. Sleepy. I don't know why I went from 12 to 9. Better be a good reason here. Oh, not 9. Yeah, it's near $9. Don't know the reason for the soft, but if you want to strike, I mean, this is the area. If you're bullish, this is the area. You had a run up from what was this 650. That was about a 6-point move, right? It's under the 50% retracement at 950. Couple lows in the same area. So hey, if you want to strike here, you got an area. Wow, this is saying low at 902, 858, 893. So $9, even under that. I guess that was 958. So developing some support here. You just want to see it get away from it. It doesn't seem to be doing that right now.
And what about SPG? The whole REIT sector is, financials, right, are getting punished today. REITs are getting punished with it. So SPG is down 1.5%. It's had, what is that, 5-6 down days in a row. SPG. Do you have any thoughts, Joel? Do you still own this?
No, I don't. I don't own this one. Okay. One hell of a comeback. Several up months in a row. Just got one big seller here. Maybe they mopped them up today because you're quite a bit off that low. I guess everything kind of fell out of bed. 126.05. It's a little bit of a retracement, but off the low, not by a ton. I'd still keep an eye on this 126, and if you're trying it for the long here, they take that out low for the day. You still got some mild support at 124. So it's just just selling pressure, and I'm sure the race thing is not really helping things either. SPOO's right back up, man. It doesn't look like they want to go back to unchanged. We got about 10 minutes left in the session. Getting right up to my weekly number here at 42.27. Setting up for one hell of a quad witch expiration for tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget. Okay, let's go to the chat from this afternoon. Let's start with ACMR, semiconductor play. I saw a thing about...
It's got to be up. It's got to be up.
Well, of course it is. But I also saw a thing about a bill out of the Senate, that tax credit for U.S. semiconductor investments.
This is really the first day of the move. So,
or U.S. semiconductor companies, sorry.
Yeah, first day...
is one.
Yeah, 108.58. That's really the number you want to smoke here. You got to 106. You're still trading up right near there. So I see some room to march high at 108.58. And then it gets super silly wide open to 144 and 144.81. That was one hell of a month. It came right back down. Oh, it came down to 60, and now it's on its way back up. So that's what I'm seeing next, at least based on the monthly chart. You can drill in your dailies and maybe find something else. You know what? I'm going to look at a chart right now, and I'm going to be pretty disappointed if this stock is not up. Intel.
No, I don't think it is.
No, look at that pig.
I was saying this morning on the stream, I think it was like at 10, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like 10:45. I was like, hey, when all tech is up and you want to know who's down, just
look at Intel.
No, don't even that. Just think about value, right? Think about like Intel or Cisco or HP. HP, I'm pretty sure is down too. HP.
Yeah, let's take a look.
So
yeah, the only chip stock in the world that's HP's getting smoked.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. So if those guys are up, then yes, then all of tech is up. But no, those are. If you're trying to find tech that's down, start with value and then work your way up from there.
Good point.
But yeah, just one of those things. Okay, couple more tickers. Let's go. I don't see any headlines coming in. I don't see any news. Saw a buy and balance. Nothing too crazy though.
Yeah. This is really it's a teaser market because you're right at that high at 22.7. You're making incremental new highs, but you're just not busting through. So it doesn't look like we're going to get that flush back to unchanged that I was thinking about. But hanging in here, maybe those imbalances supported the market a little bit. But like I said, big tech. Where the hell is Amazon here? This thing is.
Hey, Joel, don't forget. Don't forget Prime Day is Monday and Tuesday.
There it is.
I know what Joel's doing. On Monday.
Yeah, I'm having Lisa order some stuff. Big day. Look at this. This is one of Amazon's best. Ooh, look at that. Up, up, up. Wow, right back. Trading range, man. That thing. I hope Dennis's straddle friend is been keeping a little bit closer to the belt there. That thing's been running. And I guess they're doing the grocery store thing, but that didn't hurt Kroger's. So great day. I mean, we'll see. See if we can get to the top of this trading range. Is that Bezos going to space? When's he doing that? Is that soon?
Why? You want him off this planet?
No, it's just the Bezos space trade. I don't know. I mean, I know it was coming up soon.
No, it's like
Here comes the fade a little bit, folks. We're 5 points off the high now. They're going to get it back to unchanged. I just got a feeling here. But what do we got? We got 6 minutes left. What does the chat? What does the chat want to see?
I mean, they're dropping some tech tickers in there, but like, yeah, they're all going to be up.
Give me an easy one. Give me an easy one.
Well, you want to talk Caterpillar?
Oh, cat goes splat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, another leg down.
I know.
Trading near the lows of the session.
This makes me bullish.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe hold out for two. That's a big down day here. Is it trade? Yeah, and it's trade. It's got more to do. You see, when you hang around support for too long, what were the lows in this thing? It was like I wish someone would have had me pull this up this morning. Look at this, like two lows in the same area, 1626 and then 1670, and then boom, opened up above it. And when it came down, but that's just selling on weakness. It's like the big institutions, man, they're throwing their orders out on days like this. And then when this thing turns, that support point, that's toast. I'm going to get rid of that right now. And then cat goes splat. Deer must be going the same way. Yup.
Yeah.
Wow. Out of the value trade. Yeah. What a bifurcated market. And I know that's a big word. 1575, folks. I'm calling unchanged on the day. Let's see. Let's see if we can get. I'd be out there at 13 and a quarter. In fact, I might get out there at 13 and a quarter. So if it takes there, I don't have to worry about it. But little sell off into the close, final 4 minutes. What about Lennar? What did Lennar do today? I have a feeling that we read the earnings. I saw the way it was trading.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, it took out those lows.
No.
And I was wrong. Support. Look at that. Support is support. And look where it went to. You know what we talked about yesterday? We talked about all these four highs here at 96. Actually, it was 96.50. I hope y'all were paying attention. It got right. Actually, the lowest high was 59. It got to 96.39. So getting out there at 96, that's nice. This is a big area for it to go through. Let's see if it happens tomorrow. But buyers here at 90.5, 91 rewarded off the report. Let's see if we can. Very important to get through 96.5, and then maybe start to think about triple digits.
All right, we got 5 minutes left until the close. Here is the situation, guys. I am co-hosting the Cannabis Hour, which is up next with Javier Haas. So I'm going to have to leave you now with Joel. I know, Joel, but look, Elliot's getting married this weekend. Like,
really?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
wow.
People, yeah. So he's getting married. So like half the crew is like out doing like wedding things, and so I'm going to fill in for them. So I'm going to leave you guys.
Okay, the cannabis expert. Okay.
I'm going to bring Mitch on. I'm going to let Mitch and Joel walk you into the close, and I will see you guys in 5 minutes for Cannabis Hour.
Okay.
You brought the money. You brought the money to the show. Spencer brought the money. I know you saw that EV move this morning, Joel.
That was a good call. Good call. Good setup.
Let's take a look at that.
We talked about are you just moving your stop up,
right?
Are you going to ring the register?
No, man, I'm letting this one ride. The diamond hands are up, Joel.
Oh, so I mean, no, it's a good call. It's just been a trading range, right?
I just think, that last recovery of 600 makes me a little bit confident to at least go off of that whole number.
Yeah, no, it did. And it held up pretty well yesterday. I mean, tech was the place to be today. I mean,
I
Dennis
had
is
that
probably,
feeling. I
that
was
was a
looking
good
in the
call.
morning, pre-market, I said it. That was a fake out yesterday because I think at the end of the day, what we got from the Feds was what we expected. And so I think that was just a shakeout. And some people get shaked way too quickly. I've been one of those people that have gotten shaked out on
Get
those
to the
moves. They just shake you. They just shake you. It just
You
goes
get to the
up,
top
down,
of
up,
that
down.
tree, you're climbing, you're almost at the top, you're ready to ring the bell, and they come and they start shaking it. No,
Yeah, man.
no, a couple trades. I had a couple trades today where it's like before, like you're almost at your pain point, you're almost at your stop, and then it turns around for you. Just what we talked about here, folks. Up and down and all around. We're coming up on unchanged here. We went off at 42.13. That was our close from yesterday. We were all over the place today. Just made a high going into like the final 10 minutes. Here we are back at 14. We are setting up for a good expiration. For you, Mitch, I just told Mr. Twitter out there, Mr. Musk doesn't do anything. But tomorrow we talked about the 620 area. You got the 2147. I think you got a battle zone here, 2147 to 2309. And then you can get up at the big level is 630 to 635. But you backed off 4 points off the high. I mean, this thing could be 600 to 620 trading range. So hopefully you get a boost overnight. Anything else you want to look at or catching your fancy here in the close?
I don't want to get too far into it, but the Chinese EV did make a move also. But to me, Shop is the one I want to talk about because that's the one I've been talking about since Monday. It had such a strong candle on Monday. Look at that move. What a move in Shop.
Amazon. Yeah, if you were keying off the Amazon, just right back up at near an all-time high, just a March. With this one, I mean, I'm sure it's more than it looks like, but your high was 1377 yesterday. You had a 1351 low. Wow, that was right near the low of the session. What excellent relative strength on these stocks today,
Exactly.
too. They just didn't budge when the market went down. But man, if you caught it back through that close, what was the close from yesterday? Because you did have a lower open. It's 66.30. Man, that was a heatless trade. So let's see if they can get that. Amazon's right back at all-time high. Tech is back. There we go. There's your 13 and a quarter print. And it looks like just a nothing day, Mitch. We're unchanged.
I mean, we talked about this on Monday, Joel. We were talking about how there was a slight rotation to that big tech. That's what I was thinking was going to maybe keep the market up. I always look for what's the next rotation. And I feel like I started seeing it. And that's why I started paying attention to the cues. Man, did you see that recovery today?
Yeah.
Whew.
It's like
I think that's the last thing we should take a look at. The cues say it all. I mean,
it's like different markets here. I mean, they just pulled the rug out. They just printed 10.
Oh, I talked too
12
loud.
and a quarter. Oh man. You just got to keep your eyes on what you're trading, and man, these indexes are just, they're unchanged. But if you're in the right stocks, long, short, or whatever, you have a good day. But should have a fun day tomorrow heading into the quad, which looks like we're going to go out unchanged. And let's see if they get that overnight ramp up, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Definitely.
Should be a good one.
Stick around, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow at PreMarket Prep. And of course, up next, you got Spencer on the Cannabis Hour. Don't forget it, guys. Check that out. Like always, guys, hit the subscribe. If you haven't checked out Joel's PreMarket Prep after the PreMarket Prep, check it out, guys. PreMarketPrep.com, and you guys know where to find them. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.